Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakakodash, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, I asked ChatGPT, is God a black man according to the Bible? So let's see what it has to say. The question of whether God is a black man according to the Bible touches on theology, biblical interpretations, and cultural identity. Here's a clear breakdown based on biblical text and historical context. God in the Bible. God is a spirit, according to John 4:24. God is a spirit, blah, 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 blah. Anthropomorphic language. That means to make a god and come down in the form of a man, like Zeus. Zeus is in the heavens. Sometimes he comes down in the form of a man because he likes women on the earth. Anyway, describes God with human traits like hands, eyes, etc. is used for human understanding, but doesn't suggest God has, I'm reading verbatim, has a literal physical body or race. Well, John on the Isle of Patmos saw the Heavenly Father, Son of Man. He said, Son of Man. Described him having an afro, white afro. Anyway, they're going to mention the Israelites, which I was surprised. Race in the Bible, the concept of race, as we understand it today, black, white, etc., did not exist in biblical times. People were identified more by tribe, nation, or region. Some figures in the Bible, like the Queen of Sheba, or people from Cush, Ethiopia, are clearly African or dark-skinned, and they are often portrayed positively. Remember, the Most High compared us to the Ethiopians. Are ye not as the Ethiopians to me, O children of Israel? So Chat says that Ethiopians are dark people. 4. Black identity and biblical interpretation, and black liberation theology and Afrocentric interpretations. Excuse me. Some emphasize God's, I'm reading verbatim, solidarity with the oppressed, and highlight the many biblical figures would not have been white. I didn't know this was going to be in this chat. Movements like the Hebrew Israelites, and thank you for not calling us black Hebrew Israelites, were Israelites, or sometimes known as Hebrew Israelites. Movements like the Hebrew Israelites, the Hebrew Israelite thing is getting that fame. And some parts of Pan-African theology teach that God, reading verbatim, or Jesus is black. But this is not a mainstream Christian, right, because Christianity deems everything as being white. Everything good in the Bible is white. The saints are white. Moses is white. The prophets are white. The kings were white. Jesus was white. God is white. Nor is it clearly supported by science, scriptures alone. Summary: no, the Bible does not describe God as a black man. Wait a minute, what about Daniel? Daniel 7 saw a so-called black man sitting on the throne. So what's up with that? Or as any race, because God is not bound to human physical form. He did come down in the form of a so-called black man. I'm talking about Yahweh. The Messiah came down in the form of a so-called black man. However, Jesus, Jesus was, however, Jesus was non-European and likely had Middle Eastern or Afro-Asiatic features. Afro-Asiatic features. Middle Eastern. Interpreters that emphasize God's blackness often came from cultural or theological frameworks aimed at reclaiming representation and dignity for black people. Yeah, because the truth is that he was us. He looked like us. The Romans gave him the Romans and the men of war of Herod gave him a Rodney King style beating. All right. They had disdain for the man. The Romans looked at him, this is a nigger starting up. You gotta put this nigga in his place. Would you like to explore blah 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 blah? So this anyway, it says, let me read this again. Summary: no, the Bible does not describe God as a black man. Daniel 7:9, Revelation 1:13-15, Daniel 10, I believe that's the 5th verse. Miriam turning white. If she turned white, what color was she originally? Moses putting his hand in his bosom, pulling out, turned white as snow. He put it back in. It came back to his natural flesh. Did he go from off-white to white? Or as any race, because God is not bound to human physical form. However, Jesus was non-European. He wouldn't look like your white man, and likely had Middle Eastern or Afro-Asiatic features. Let me look up Afro-Asiatic features. What is meant by Afro-Asiatic features? Give me a second. Drum roll, please. Let's see what this is all about. They said this is chat. This is chat. Afro-Asiatic languages. Yeah, Hamito-Semitic. Share right. The Semitic people were had Afro-Asiatic features. Root and pattern system with consonant form the basic meaning of the word. They give me languages which I don't want. Give me images. Good, bear me for a minute. Uh-oh. It said Afro-Asiatic, GPT said Afro-Asiatic features. You gotta look like this, look like this, look like this. He didn't look like a white man. It's considered Afro-Asiatic features. Original Chinese were dark. So anyway, with that, shalom, on to the next shalom.